if you prefer the good old-fashioned way by going into the dealership and meeting with the salesperson and sitting down and striking a deal, then I'm telling you, this video is for you. Now, I do want to make it clear that not every dealer out there is trying to rip you off. There are some dealers that are kind and courteous and are really trying to help you. I'm going to go over the best practices that you can apply that's going to make your shopping experience for a vehicle way less daunting. So one thing you got to remember, that buying a car is actually a business experience. And you have to realize that when you go to a dealer is going to try and sell you something, and he's going to try and make as much money as possible on the transaction of the vehicle. So the first thing that I tell my clients is that you want to stay calm, you want to show less emotion, and you want to be able to kind of be in the driver's seat when it comes to negotiating the price of the car and the terms and everything else before you actually end up spending your money and signing on that dotted line. So one of the first things I want to go over is the financing options, because I want to tell you that financing is a key profitability for dealerships. That's why if you ever go into a dealership, a lot of times they're going to ask you, well, how much of a payment can you afford? Because they want to get you into a financing option because it makes money for them. This is why you need to do your homework on how much of a car you can afford before you actually go into the dealership to purchase. So best practices number one is I like to know what for price I am going to be paying for a car, whether it be $10,000, whether it be $20,000 or $40,000, it really doesn't matter. But I want to go into a dealership knowing the max amount of money that I can actually end up spending on a vehicle. The best thing that you can actually do is go ahead to your local bank or somewhere else and actually get pre-approved for financing. So you can go into the dealership and say that you are going to be doing a cash offer. I have done that many a times, because when you go in saying you want to have a cash offer, you are going to be asking them the best price out the door. And the reason you're going to do this is because you have your own financing. And you also have to remember that you are actually going to get a better price by getting a cash offer, because they're going to actually do less financing paperwork, less back-end headaches, and in fact, you are going to actually end up getting a deal for yourself. When I go into a dealership, I tell them that I want to have a no-haggle cash price on the sale of a vehicle. Now, I want you to keep in mind that you can actually go ahead and get a financing offer from them. They may actually have a 0% interest loan that you can go ahead and use, and it may be a good deal for you. But try to go in with a cash offer first to try and get the payment as low as possible. So when looking over the offer, you want to make sure that you have a breakdown of the transaction into different components, like the price of the car, the taxes, the registration, and all the fees, and possibly the value of your trade-in. And the reason this is important is because otherwise Salesman can actually go ahead and merge the cost of the car and the financing and the trade all into one lump sum. And I've been there already, and I'm telling you, it's hard to be able to see what you are actually paying for. And I can talk from experience that salesmen usually like to hide overpriced items and undervalue your trade-in by lumping everything into one lump sum. Instead, what I tell people is to look at the price of the car minus the trade-in, and then you want to look at the taxes and the tags and the fees for a total out the door price. Then you can decide if you want to pay cash or if you want to use your own secured financing, whatever works for you. Now, I'm going to give you a pro tip. When negotiating a car price, you want to make sure that you're in the driver's seat, because you got to realize that after all, you're spending your money. And the greatest power that you have is your willingness to walk away from a deal. Because I'm telling you, car salesmen hate this, and this is their greatest fear, because they're afraid that you are going to walk out on the sale. Keep in mind that the car salesmen are usually paid on commission, and if they don't sell anything, they typically don't eat, okay? So they're hungry for a sale, and I'm telling you, if you are workable and you're friendly, but you're firm, they will be willing to work with you and put a price together that you will be willing to pay. Now, one thing for me, I've always took my time when I was signing the paperwork. So once your deal is made, you're going to probably go to the finance office and you're going to sit down with the finance manager, and he's going to write up all the registration, the tax and tags, and all the line items, and you're going to look over it, and at the end, you're going to go ahead and sign on the dotted line. But make sure you take your time, make sure you look over every line item and understand what you are signing for. If you don't understand it, take some time and ask ask them and get them to re-explain it to you. Now, this is usually when they try to sell you upgrades, like maybe tire and wheel protection, maybe paint protection or whatever, because it usually is something that people, want to fall for or makes them feel better about their purchase. But one thing I will say is these purchases typically come with a high significant markup, and I have found that you can actually buy these independently somewhere else. Now, before you walk out the door, I want you to make sure that you get a warranty that is included with your purchase, especially if you're buying a used car. And I'm telling you, the most common warranty that dealers will sell are going to be a 3-month or a 30,000-mile warranty. And this actually helps dealers stand behind their product. I just like the peace of mind that if anything happens within 3 months, I can take it back to the dealership and they can fix it, or they can refund my money for another car. So after you sign the paperwork and all is set, most dealers will set up a day for you to be able to pick up your vehicle. And at that point, they will make sure that it is cleaned, is vacuumed, it's washed, it's all gassed up. Please make sure you take that as a courtesy, because I'm telling you, there's nothing better than picking up your vehicle when it's all shiny and new and ready to go. Hey, if you got value out of this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my weekly financial videos. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video, and make sure you share it with a friend. And until next time, we will see you in the next video.